So today we are raising negative numbers to powers. Now remember, exponents, they just mean repeated multiplication. However, when you're repeatedly multiplying negative numbers, things get a little bit wonky. So I've got a couple of examples for you. All right. Now notice the first two, they kind of look similar, right? You've got negative 2 to the 6th power and negative 2 to the 6th power. Now, it turns out these two things are actually different and get you different answers, and I'll show you why. First off, negative 2 raised to the 6th power means you're multiplying negative 2 times itself 6 times. 4, 5, 6. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. All right, now if you're going to be multiplying these together, you got to work carefully, but I like to pair them off here. A negative 2 times a negative 2 is a positive 4. A negative 2 here times a negative 2 here is another positive 4. Negative 2 times negative 2 is another positive 4. And look, basically, this whole thing simplifies to 4 times 4 times 4, which I know is 64. And there's the answer. So negative 2 to the 6th power actually equals 64. Okay? Now, I told you that this second one actually means something different, and it does. Here's why. You've got negative 2 to the 6th power. Now before, negative 2 is in parentheses, so that means you're taking negative 2 and multiplying it by itself 6 times. This one does not have parentheses. So you've got a negative, and you've got 2 to the 6th power. Now, order of operations say, when you're dealing with this problem, we actually have to do the exponent first, and then deal with the negative afterwards. All right? So we actually have to do 2 to the 6th power first. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got 6 of them. And then after that, we have to stick a negative in front of the answer. All right? So even though these look like they're written very similarly, they actually mean different things. So when I multiply this out, I've got to do this first. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which we already know. We just got through doing it. That equals 64. But after we multiply all that out, then we just stick the negative sign in front of it. The answer to this is actually negative 64. All right? And if you're not sure or you don't believe me, we can check it on the calculator here. Negative 2 in parentheses raised to the 6th power, positive 64. Negative 2 raised to the 6th power without parentheses, negative 64. All right, so the parentheses matter here. All right, so you really have to pay attention to how is it written out and what's being repeatedly multiplied. Is it the negative 2 being repeatedly multiplied, or is it just the 2 being repeatedly multiplied? Because notice they give us different answers. Now also notice we have an even exponent, which means that there's going to be an even number of negative numbers being multiplied together here. So it's going to come out positive. But what happens when you have an odd exponent? Well, things come out a little bit different, but it works the same way. So down below, I've got negative 8 to the 3rd power, and I've got negative 8 to the 3rd power. Let's write this one out and figure out what we get. So for the first one, negative 8's in parentheses, so we're going to repeatedly multiply negative 8 times itself 3 times. There we go. All right, now, numbers are getting a little bit bigger, but I know negative 8 times negative 8 is positive 64. And I've still got to multiply that by one more negative 8. And luckily, I happen to know that 64 times 8 is 512. So 64 times negative 8 is negative 512. So there you go. Negative 8 to the 3rd power is negative 512. Now, let's try the other one. Negative 8 to the 3rd power. Again, this one doesn't have parentheses, so that means I have to do the exponent first. I have to do 8 times 8 times 8 first, and then stick the negative sign on my answer. So, let's do that. Well, I just got through saying that 8 times 8 times 8 is 512. But then we stick the negative sign in front of it. So our answer is negative 512. And look, actually this time we end up getting the same answer. So in this case, because there's an odd exponent and we're raising a negative number to an odd power, the answer comes out negative. And so in this case, it actually didn't matter whether we kind of paid attention to the parentheses. I mean, technically it means a different problem, but we end up getting the same answer. And if you want to double check just to make sure, we can always plug it into the calculator to double check. Negative 8 in parentheses raised to the third power, negative 512, that's what we got. And negative 8 without parentheses raised to the third power, negative 512, which is also what we've got. All right, so the key to working with negative exponents, negative numbers and exponents is really pay attention to what number is repeatedly multiplying, and then when you multiply them out, make sure you pay attention to the sign, whether it's positive or ends up being negative. All right, so hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, hit that like button. Also subscribe because it really helps us out. But with that being said, good luck on your math, and I will see you next time.